Hey guys, Mambo, thank you guys so much for being here. I have not recorded for the longest time because I had this Mandela Washington Fellowship thing that was happening. I had like a month to just finish up and wrap up everything that was going on back home before traveling here. So now that we are like 4 weeks in, 4 weeks. It's been a lot of things that we've been doing here. So just even getting a time to sit down and just have a reflection of what we have learned, what is our takeaways for this Mandela Washington Fellowship. It has been such a hard thing, but just to give you guys a heads up, so Mandela Washington Fellowship, it's a program under the state government, the U.S. state government, and they give up fundings to IREX, who end up distributing the fundings to 700 fellows each year from sub-Saharan Africa, and they've been doing this for 10 years now, and it's such an amazing opportunity, especially for young leaders and entrepreneurs back home. And because there are like 3 different tracks, so there's business, there's civic, and
there's public engagement.
Public engagement. So we are on the business track, and I'm with my fellow business person here from Nigeria, Babafemi. Hey, he's my guy. He's been my guy.
Good to be here. Really excited to be here. Thank you, Naja, for putting this together.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been an awesome 4 weeks, right? And it's been an interesting activity right here in Mississippi. So really excited to be here this evening.
Yeah, and it's like, I think for us, it's not even about the Mandela Washington itself or coming here to States.
Yeah.
I think it's about us meeting all these other fellows from different countries, because we're 25 of us.
Exactly.
And it's like, we're like, what, 20 nationalities here?
So I think we have like 19 different Africans.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there are 6 of us that share 3 countries.
Yeah,
so that makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah. But it's such an amazing opportunity for all of us, and at the same time, I feel like it's such an amazing opportunity to us individually to learn from the other fellows, to learn how they do business back home. Because one thing that I realized, people here are so smart.
Yeah, they are. Trust me.
And that's why 53,000 people applied, and only 700 were selected. But we're not saying the ones who are not selected are not good in what they do. Yeah. I just feel like they have to remain in a certain number. Yeah. But I think there's so much that Africans can offer, especially young Africans.
Yeah.
But before we go all out, guys, welcome. This is Nahuja Hatibu, and this is What I Know, the podcast. Now, I want to go to you, Babafemi. First and foremost, I told you when I was telling you I want to have to talk to you, that I was so moved by how you are such a good communicator, you are such a good believer, you know what you're doing, what you're standing for, you're not you're not scared to speak your mind, and I just really wanted to share your story out there because I know somebody who is listening to us can learn something. But before it all, I want you to tell people, who is Babafemi?
All right.
What you do back home, and your journey to Mandela Washington so far.
Most time I'm always excited having such opportunity to talk about myself.
Yeah.
The reason is because I've had a lot of downtimes, or I've had a lot of challenges growing up, and I never at any point in time pictured this current future I'm already exhibiting. So most of the time it gladdens my heart to actually seeing that beyond every circumstances, able to rise and rise tall. So my name is Babafemi. I'm from Nigeria, and basically from Ekiti State, but reside in Ibadan. And I work with Crop to Cash, which is like a Fintech solution solving the problem of smallholder farmer in Nigeria. And my journey to the Mandela Washington Fellowship was really amazing. Amazing, and trust me guys, it's like a testimony. What do I mean that it's a testimony? Nauja just said that we have over 53,000 people that applied.
Yep.
And trust me, when I got the mail December 31st, 2023.
You even remember the day?
Yeah. I thought it was part of these junk email. I didn't bother to read.
Okay.
I deleted the email.
What?
I'm telling you. I
didn't know that.
I deleted the email, and I thought nothing happened. Only like a month after, when the day for the interview arrived, and I was in the middle of the street, and I got a phone call and said, "Hi, Babafemi, you are meant to have an interview right now." I said, "Which interview?" They said, "Didn't you apply for the Mandela Washington Fellowship?" I said, "Yes, I did." We sent an email. I was arguing.
You're like, "No way."
I was
you
like,
did not
"No
send
way."
me an email.
And
Wait, how did you delete an email?
I don't know. And I had to start apologizing to say, you know what, please give me a few time, and like, oh, don't worry, we'll get back to you. And I felt I missed this opportunity. So really, to be here, it's really like a miracle to me, because I know other people could have been qualified, could have been selected, but thank God for the second chance. So I'm really excited to be here and to be part of the 2024 700 selected fellow. Yeah.
Do you know that I was not selected first?
Really?
I was the one who like on the standstill.
Yeah. Oh.
So when I got the email, it was like, we're sorry you didn't make in the first cut, but we'll put you on a hold zone.
Wow.
If anything happens to any of the fellows, we'll let you know. And thank God, I'm not saying thank God, but so one of the fellows got pregnant or had a baby, and the other one traveled to another country. So two of us were selected for the second selection. So I remember so this is the thing I always tell people, like, this year was the year like I wanted to travel, I wanted to like expand my knowledge, I wanted to go back to school. So that was such a hit for me. Like I was like, okay, but then I said this, if it was meant to happen, it will happen.
Yeah.
So we are all on the same page.
Wow.
I feel like it was
when it's your time.
It's your time.
It's your time.
It's your time. It's your time. And I remember going for the orientation, and the guy was telling me, "You are so lucky, Nauja. You are so lucky. You're selected." But you know what? I think that put a big pressure on me, and I don't know if it's the same for you, to really do people proud back home, and to be able to make an impact that people will be like, okay, we didn't make we didn't make a mistake picking this person for the second time. So for me, the pressure is double than you guys, because you guys were like, yeah, we did it the first time. For me, it was like, oh my God, Nauja, I need to make sure that this is good, not just for me, but for my country, so that they don't feel like they made a mistake.
So for me, trust me, I think there's a level of expectation expected from us as African leaders. And also, trust me, you've actually paid your dues. There are a lot of things you've done, and that is why I think they also recognize some of the great work you are doing in your own country, in my own country. And trust me, these people also did a bit of background check, and trust me, you've paid your dues. So don't see that as a mistake. You are meant to be here. I'm glad that you are here.
I'm so glad I'm here, and I'm so glad I'm here because I can meet people like you guys. Please tell me a bit about, I know you work, and there's a day we talked, and you said you are the oldest person in your company. Was it you?
Yeah.
You're the oldest person in your company. Tell me about that. And when it comes to leadership, tell me about that in terms of, the great minds that are in Nigeria. Because, can I tell you a secret? So during the orientation, one of the lady was like, guys, I was in Nigeria for the orientation. Those guys are so aggressive. So when you go to States, just make sure that your voice are heard and everything. But when I got here, I mean, I can see that on you and Sarah. But you it's not that you are it's not like you are aggressive in a way that you are. I think that's what the guy was talking today. Like you are, how do I say, you are mean, or you come out as as rude. No. You are so confident in what you do, and I think that's something that. I think that's why you guys carry Africa, because So tell me about the leadership in your company and you being the oldest person there and how that works.
Just to put this straight. So when you say I'm the oldest, guys, I'm not old.
He's not old.
I'm just,
everybody is under 35 by the way. So
I'm just like a little bit above 35. But trust me, I think I'm privileged to work in an organization that have youth population. So we have an average age of 26, 27.
Wow.
Yes, and this is more or less like what the startup also offer innovation, offer technology, and trust me, Nigeria is such a great country because of our population. We compete a lot for different things. What we are currently doing, or what we are currently work, or the sector that I currently work, we have a whole lot of innovators, young mind also innovating in the agri space, and you can talk about that in different entrepreneur, and that is why most of the time when you even look at the application, Nigeria has over 5,000 applications compared to other countries where we only have maybe
ours was like 1,700.
You could get. So most time it passed through a lot of rigor, and so when you are selected, you see it as a great privilege, basically. And to also put to question you asked, yes, we work in the AgriTech space, and we feel like technology is changing the story in various sectors, and we want to also see how technology also is changing the story of agriculture, and that is where we actually playing.
Okay, tell me, like, I'm really interested in that. So tell me maybe your education background, like why did you choose to work in agriculture, fintech?
Oh, okay.
And your journey to that, because every time somebody tells me what they do, I always want to know why.
Oh, okay.
How did you get there?
Okay.
What was the interest?
Okay.
Tell me more about that.
Okay. So interestingly, my first degree was in agric engineering.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's an engineer, yo.
Yeah. Agric engineering. But trust me, my first degree, I wasn't actually seeing also like a future like this, because when you look at the engineering courses, agric engineering seems to be the least. I'm not talking about in terms of what we are being taught, but in terms of opportunity right after the school. You hardly find a vacancy that talks about we need an agric engineer. You see more of electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, civil engineer. So that at the point in time put me I felt disadvantaged. But trust me, after my first degree, I had to go do some bit of professional courses, which has to do with project management. Time for part of my early days career-wise. It took me also to intern with Lofting Ally Partners with they also focus on project development. Because of my potential, let me put it that way. I was also able to work with the sister company of Lofting Ally Partner, which has to do with Innovation Hub.
Okay.
They are also like an innovation organization. So I work with entrepreneurs, startup. I learn basic things about business development, business principle, and also I facilitate a lot of training. That actually shaping my growth growing up.
Wow.
So along the line, I pick up my second degree also in agric engineering, soil and water.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
my father would love to hear this, because my dad did agriculture engineering, and when he was doing it, he had the same thing. He was like, he didn't know how it's gonna turn out. Like, he did something like nobody expected that he's gonna come back, and he did soil and water and stuff. So that is so cool.
Oh, interesting.
Hi, Dad. Say hi, Professor.
I see, Dad. I think I need to learn more from your dad.
Yes.
We can talk about
He's amazing.
this.
He's amazing.
Yeah. So I went for soil and water engineering for my second degree. Fast forward in 2020 when the COVID happened, the co-working space, the innovation hub I work, we used to bring in tech startup, tech communities, but during COVID, everybody had to isolate themselves. Program had to go digital. You have to begin to have various meetings on Zoom and the like. So I felt like leaving the tech ecosystem, leaving the innovation space, and apparently the company I currently work for was part of the startup also that I supported while I was at the Innovation Hub.
Oh, okay.
So when I wanted to leave, I approached one of the partners, and I was like, "Oh, Babafemi, we'd love to have you around," and I consider that, and also I want to also have a feel of what working in the startup looks like. So trust me, joining Crop to Cash has been a combination of passion and a bit of impact working together. Working with smallholder farmer in Nigeria, it's such a big deal for me because they seems to be at the bottom of the pyramid. So that's how my journey was from my degree down to the innovation, then back to the AgriTech
It's so amazing that you train them and then ended up working with them, which is like a full cycle.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't see that. Sometimes you talk to somebody like Irene, Irene Iraba from Tanzania.
Yeah.
She's like a young sister to us. She's 27 now.
Oh, awesome.
But sometimes you look at somebody and you're like when I was 27, probably I was not doing half of what you're doing.
Yeah.
So you might look at her. I even tell her, I look at you as my small sister, but I feel like you're going to blow up. So sometimes we look down on, not down, but we feel like we've gotten there, and we think that people who are coming, behind us, they won't change our life 2, 3, 4 years later, and they're the ones who actually end up having a huge impact. I want to go back to the 1.5 million grant you guys got. I know you have been really vocal here about learning how to write grants, but you're one of the people who work in a company that already won a grant. Tell me more about that.
So there is the project has to do with the USAID project, and it's a body in Nigeria which is like the trade hub. USAID has various components. You have the Feed the Future.
Okay.
You have the trade hub. So we put in for grant with with USAID, which is like trade hub.
Yeah.
The project is actually making access to inputs available.
Okay.
And I was part of the people that actually put in for the grant. I lead the writing of the grant.
Okay.
So one of the things that happened was basically to understand what grant actually required. So it was a USAID project, which is like a trade hub managed by trade hub.
Okay.
So it was part of this grant that it has to do with the matching grant. So matching grant is they are willing to give us 500 USD.
Wow.
But we need to show that we have a 1 million USD with us.
Okay.
So at that point in time, as a startup, to have 1 million, it's not a big deal. It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
That time, I'm sure everybody works in your co-founder.
Yeah.
Everything you own.
So but kudos,
will still not be 1 million.
Yeah, but kudos to Crop to Cash management team. And we have a great partnership with one of our financial partners, which is FCMB. Because FCMB also believe in what we do, they gave us a check of 1 million USD that we used to tender as part of our matching grant. And that actually go a long way. So, when we are looking for grants, one of the things that I've learned is as an organization, we need to do our homework so that when our paper or our application is being read, we can't speak to it, but our work, what we've written down, speak for us. So we wrote something interesting and also show how we intend to help smallholder farmer have access to quality input and also financing, leveraging on technology. I think those are some of the ways we actually get a major grant and interestingly, that grant came to an end this year. That was around April, May. It was such a great ending because when we look back to what the impact, it was
I was
really
about to ask
amazing.
you that. I really want to know what's the the impact that what the impact has Crop to Cash had on the small farmers. How do you measure the impact? How do you know the type of impact that you guys have had?
So for that particular project, we were able to work with basic objective that we needed to achieve. One of it was to create a bit of employment in the state we intend to work with. So we selected 3 states, which in Nigeria, which has to do with Kaduna, Niger, and Kebbi State. So one of the things we did was to basically, number one, enter some of those states. We need to also see how to work with extension agent. So the first thing we did was to scout and recruit extension agents that is going to work with us, which is also creating a job opportunity. So per each of those states, we have 100 extension agents per state.
Wow. So how many states are there in Nigeria?
So in Nigeria we have 36 states. but we choose to like work with 3 states.
Okay.
Yeah, we work with 3
Okay.
states. So we work with the extension agent. The first we have to do with like entering a new community. We try to like identify major stakeholders that can help us identify this.
Yeah, you need people on the ground.
We need people, And one of the things we did was to like work with the Ministry of Agri, which they help us to like maybe through the program of ADP, Agricultural Development Program, look out for some extension agent, which we scrutinize them. For successful agents, we have to take them through a series of trainings. Also, we train them on good agricultural practices, and also how to like use innovation that crop to cash has. And along the line, for over like 18 months, we have an average of over 220 agents that we engage. Part of the things that they were able to do for us was to be able to also, through them, get to smallholder farmer in their community, in various communities that they have. So how are we able to get that done was like we empower them. How we empower them is like we knew that phone penetration in Nigeria it's amazing. So we ensure that each of our agents they have mobile phone. And without internet they just need to like dial *3. We used to call it.
Is it called SSD or something
USSD.
like that? USSD.
So we have a USSD solution. We used to call it a magic number. Because once you dial *347 *46# and you dial, follow the voice prompts, you can get farmer sign up within 1 minute 30 seconds, and at the end of the day, by the time they are done signing up, they have a e-wallet. So it also means financial inclusion for farmers that are not financially included.
I wanted to ask you a final question, but before that, something came to mind. You are working with a lot of stakeholders. Tell me a bit about because government is something else. What role has the government played in your company? And I think this question keeps asked a lot when we go and meet leaders here. Do you get tax exemptions? That one. Do you does the government identify that you are there? Because one thing about entrepreneurship right now in Africa, a lot of people are starting businesses. They're starting solutions because problems are there. But then the government doesn't know how to really bring us together and be able to help us and hold our hand and knowing that we are working for the people. They're taxing us even before we start making money and so on and so forth. Give me a bit of your experience working in Fintech, agriculture Fintech sector, and how that has played a role either in elevating you guys or making things difficult.
So
don't worry, they won't watch this.
So based on my role, my role has to do with business development, and it means that I need to interact with major stakeholders, and government also play a key role as part of the major stakeholders, basically. So one of the things we've been able to do is basically to also understand what government policies are. See how we can align ourselves to some of these government policy. For me, I know quite all right, and the crop to cash team. We'll reach out to some couple of governments. State governments. But interestingly, in 2021 or 2022, we were able to secure a partnership with one of the state government, which is Edo State. I think I need to mention that state because they are the first government, if I'm not making mistake, that we work with. So they reach out to us to say, hey guys, can you build us a supply chain to manage the activity?
That's nice.
To manage the activity of a smallholder farmer in the state. And we built a robust supply chain that helped to take note of who the farmer in Edo State are, what the government is giving to them, and also be able to like manage a whole lot of process that they could have been done on pen and paper. We did that, and so for us, we know the government might not be in every place, but I think one of the things that has helped us is like the enabling environment to work with. When I talk about that, we work with various stakeholders. maybe I should just lead few of them. Government, the financial partner, which is very important, and also we have input providers that we work with. Insurance also is part of the stakeholders we work with.
Okay, that's
and
nice.
I think lastly I will talk about the input provider. I don't know if I've mentioned that. Those are some of the major stakeholders we've been able to like work with, and they've been really helpful.
Because for us, the reason I ask, I know you mentioned that the state governor, you mentioned a minister and everything, and I think the other day you wrote an open letter to who? I think you opened an open letter to.
So I wrote an open letter to my governor.
Yeah, governor. You see, so for me, back home, the reason I ask you that question is because they can come for the launch. They can take pictures. We can go and visit them. But I'm talking about day-to-day running of business and how the government is actually holding a hand and helping us. And I like what you say, that they cannot be everywhere. So back home, we have help. But sometimes the help is it just reaches so far. It just reaches the surface. But when it comes to, hey, we have problems raising funds. Hey, can you help us? If I'm having a project for a certain region, can the office of the regional manager or the regional officer support this project? So even when I'm asking for grant, they know that in my region, people understand what I'm doing and the impact I have in my community. So for me, I feel like back home, Tanzania, we still have a lot to do when it comes to that the government, we can actually feel the government present in everyday, working on in terms of, our work. The last question I want to ask you is, how do you see the role that technology will play, especially in agriculture, in the decades to come in Nigeria?
Okay, so when you look at agriculture, maybe I should put a perspective to it currently. There is farming, there is agriculture, and there is agribusiness.
Okay, I love that.
In the past,
and some of us don't know the difference.
In the past, what our fathers in the past have practiced is farming and agriculture.
Okay.
But currently, what we need to do is agribusiness.
Okay.
Because agribusiness is what is making sense for us. It's like we need to do agri, like it's a business. And except we do agri as if it's a business, it will just be a poor man's work. Trust me. Why I'm saying that is because agriculture is agribusiness. It's like trying to see your input and see the output, and you can see that your output is also creating a bit of income for you. You asked about the role technology is going to play, maybe in the next. Trust me, it's not even in the next 10 years. It's 5 years. Not even in the next 5 years. Technology is already creating. One thing is based on experience and what our role at Crop to Cash is, we provide a bit of weather advisory to farmers. Okay. So when we talk about weather advisory, it's to say now, you don't need to apply fertilizer or agrochemical on your farm today because it's going to rain around 4 p.m. So if you tell me and say, Babafemi, now you sabi, I'll go and...
What is that now?
Yes.
Now you sabi.
Now you sabi is like, I don't care.
Okay.
Because I've given you like an heads up that it's going to rain around 4 to 6, but you told me no, it's not going to rain. How did you know? And you went ahead maybe around 12 noon to go and apply fertilizer and agrochemical. Yeah. And it rained around 4, as I've told you. Number one, you've lost what you apply because it doesn't take it won't have an effect.
Yes.
The rain is going to wash them off. That
Absolutely.
That is the place of weather advisory, leveraging on AI to determine what the climate look like.
Yes.
And that is what we are doing.
Wow.
There are sometimes we send a message to smallholder farmer and say, hey farmer, it's going to rain between 12 and 1. Wow. And most of the time one of our partner in this is Google used to give predictions.
Yes.
But most time we work with private partner. Ignitia. Ignitia is also one of a great company doing a great stuff. They provide climate information, weather advisory, and also we've been able to like develop an in-house weather advisory solution that we give to farmers. Wow. That is one. Another area where technology also is playing is when you look at the problem of smallholder farmer in Nigeria, and I think it's particular, it's not only limited to Nigeria alone, it's something that, number one, there seems not to be a database of smallholder farmer, right? That we can
there in Tanzania.
That we can work with. So for example, we don't know who the farmer is, where their farm is, what they plant. These are not available to help stakeholders make informed decisions.
Okay.
So one of the things we've been able to do is to create a database that will help us to know who the farmer is.
Is it done already, or you are doing it right now?
It is done already.
Okay, that's
so
nice.
We have a product where we call Gather.
Okay.
What Gather does is to help to map farmer's farm.
Okay.
So while sitting on my system, I can know the geolocation of where your farm is. I can go on
That's
my
good
map.
stuff.
Yeah, I can go on my map and put your geocoding and say, oh, you have rice on your farm. So you don't need to come and prove a point to me that I have a farm.
Yeah.
Looking at it on my system, I could see that you have a farm. This is technology.
Wow.
You know. And also another thing also is like, we are in the world of AI. I know you've heard about ChatGPT and different AI. Trust me, AI is already playing in the agri sector, and currently, Crop to Cash launched a national hotline service AI. I think it was some few weeks ago.
Wow.
I wasn't there. It's one of the projects I'm managing. It's sponsored by GSMA. So we launched a national hotline for smallholder farmer.
Wow.
So a smallholder farmer can call a toll-free line and say, hey guys, my maize is not germinating the way it's supposed to be, and you can listen to a feedback on the phone as if you are communicating in your in your local language, either in English, in Yoruba, in Hausa. I'm telling you,
So like when you dial, you choose which language.
You choose which language.
Because of course a lot of small farmers, most of them don't speak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Initially we have some farm AI. You can get AI a form of ChatGPT or even on your WhatsApp.
Yeah.
But because we also know the target market, that most of smallholder farmer, they don't have access to internet.
Yes.
They are not using like internet enabled phone.
Yes.
Even though with any feature phone, you just need to call, right? And that is why we make that solution easily accessible.
Wow.
These are areas technology is actually helping. And lastly, on that point, it's also good for us to be able to do a bit of a credit check for smallholder farmer.
Okay.
Just like you are seated here, I know you're a big lady.
Yeah.
So if, for example, you need
big boss,
yes. If, for example, you need a
I am
loan,
doing well.
yeah, you're doing well. So if, for example, you need a loan or you need finance, you can dial a code from your bank, and your bank can see what your transaction looks like in the past few months and say, okay, you know what, I will give you X amount of money. For example,
so cool.
for example, for some of the mobile network we use in our country, you can borrow data.
Yes.
Can farmer also borrow?
Yeah. We do that
I
as
can
well.
borrow credit. Can farmer also borrow credit? Yes, it's possible. But if we don't know who the farmer is, what his transaction looks like, there's no way he can borrow money. So that is where our solution comes in terms of fintech. Number one, we have a wallet solution whereby a farmer can save money, send money, and also can do his agri transaction on his phone. Wow. So in 6 months to a year, it's easier for us to see who the farmer is, what he has, and know what his capacity is. Trust me, if I don't see that you've managed 500,000 and you're asking me for 400,000, I will be scared.
Yes.
But if you've managed 500,000 and I can see your credit history, and you need a bit of 100,000 to possibly scale up what you are doing, we can come in those situations. And that is the beauty of we also creating a fintech solution that help farmers to be inclusive and also to access finance.
I think what you've said is, I love what you said. Like, forget a decade from now, because 5 years ago we didn't know what AI is.
Yeah.
I mean, AI was there, but it was not as big.
Yeah.
So I feel like with technology right now, we cannot tell.
Yeah.
You cannot tell how things are going to be in 2 years.
Yeah.
Especially with Corona, when Corona came in.
Yeah.
Like now, everybody is operating business in a way that we are making decisions as we go.
Yeah.
We are adapting as we go.
Yeah.
And these questions, maybe people have asked when they're going to look for a job, like where you see yourself in 5 years. But when it comes to business, I feel like, and that comes to my last question, like right now, how the way I was thinking in January is different the way I'm thinking right now, and how I want to run my business and how I want to elevate my career and so on and so forth. And that I want to ask you that since you got here, what has changed in terms of how you look at entrepreneurship, how you look at leadership, how you look at tech, just your career in general? What has changed? And you don't have to say everything that's happened, but just that one thing that you're like, you know what, I was thinking this way before I got here, but now I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Okay, I think over the past 3-4 weeks, what has changed? I think my orientation have changed about business. That business is about people, right? It's about people. You need people.
I'm gonna quote you on this. This is so cool. Yeah.
You need people. Mandela Washington Fellowship have offered me opportunity to have 25 fellows from 19 different countries. So apparently, if I need to move to Tanzania today or Uganda today,
just call me.
Just a call away.
Just call me.
Babe, I'm coming to your country. This and this.
You did well.
So this and this is what I'm coming to do.
Yeah.
I have been able to understand that people is very important in business. And one of the things I've also seen interacting with businesses in the US is I get wild when I hear businesses saying they have staff that have been with them for 20 years, for 25 years, for 30 years.
And I thought, even for me, I thought it was only in Nissan, but everywhere else.
Yeah. So you see how people that have been with you right from your day one to 20 years, how important they are in business. And I think it's shaping my leadership that yes, we need to put system in place, but we need to also value people, right? I think that is very important.
Yeah.
And I think maybe lastly, is you are not as big as more than the network you build around you. Yes, we talk about finance is important. We are looking for money, but people also are looking for leaders that they can trust.
Yes.
People that they can commit something into.
Yes.
So trust me, some of these guys we've interacted with, they look at you and they size you up and said, can I really trust this guy? They are meeting us. And so I think, so in leadership, we need to be able to ensure that honesty is part of our core value.
Yes.
And I think I've been able to also streamline my value as a leader to being honesty, being diligent, and also being accountable.
Yes.
Right. We have a lot of partners that we think that I'm doing it my own way, but they also want feedback. So I think accountability also is very key, and I think Mandela Washington Fellowship has actually offered me a great. And I've also learned among all the 25 fellows.
What have you learned from me?
Yes. So
because this is so funny, because our first assignment we were paired together, 3 of us, and I think we had some friction easy, and I was like, oh, this guy's gonna be a hard one. This is gonna be the hard one. But you turned out to be one of my favorite people here. You turned out to be a person that I want to pick your brain all the time, because I think we use Hassan a lot as an example. Yeah. That before coming here, everybody had this version of who Hassan is, and then Hassan ended up being one of the most favorable fellow among everybody loves Hassan. He's the most positive human being ever, and so I think that we grew to we feel like we've grown together for these last 4 weeks, and we're still growing. So what have you learned from me?
Okay. I think in terms of leadership.
Yeah. So, no, you said in the first.
Yeah. So in the first week that we came here, the first 3 days is to sit down and observe people, and who is this person? Who is this guy?
Yeah.
Who is this person? And I think the program was quickly to really make us to engage, to interact, and things like that. So I think from our first engagement, and I'm sorry to say this because I'm on camera. I hope people don't come for me with this. I love women who takes the place of leadership.
Oh.
Right? But at a point in time in my career, if I'm asked to pick between working with a guy and a lady, I would love to pick a guy. Reason because I think our energy are the same. We can drag each other. But along the line, I begin to see that women are beginning to grow up, that they do more than what men are currently doing. And I think from the place of leadership, I've seen the place of your brilliancy. I think I must say that, right? That sometimes when you have a conversation with someone in the first 5-10 minutes, and you see some of the things that they say, you know that this person is loaded. And I think my first conversation with you, the first 5 minutes, I think like you spoke from your heart, you shared experience. It shows to me that she's not just doing the fine lady that she is. Most of the time also maybe in her business you get your hands dirty. And I think it's very key. The ability also for you to manage business, manage your home. Also, for people that you don't know, this young lady here, she's not available. She's married. So for me, when I see someone that is married, you have a home, you have a business, and you also manage partners that you work with. I give it to you, and I think I've also learned from other I've also learned from other fellow like everybody is proud of what they do, right? It shows to me that Africa got talent, Africa got leadership, they got skills.
We got
the only thing that is remaining that is like we need to break those barriers.
We do.
That is
and we're talking a lot about that.
Yes, we need to break those barriers.
The borders and stuff.
the borders and things like that. And I think it's such a good, amazing thing to learn from a lot of the fellows.
Baba, thank you. You've done well. I'm trying to have a Nigerian accent, but I can't. Can you say it? You keep saying that to people. Can you say it? You're doing well.
You're doing well.
Oh,
babe, you're doing well.
Babe, you're doing well. Because he says that to his team members and everything. Thank you so much for your time. Like I can talk to you for hours, and we've been speaking for like 40 minutes.
Awesome.
But I have learned so much from you. I think that people have learned so much from you as well, especially people in agriculture sector, but just generally as a leader and as a guy who's pushing things and making things happen. And congratulations again for being here. And I just can't wait to see what you're gonna do after Mandela Washington. I know you're gonna do amazing things, and I hope I'll be able to come to Nigeria because you're my guy.
You're welcome. I'll take you around to
the small farmers. So thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for being here with us. There were so many people running around because literally we are at the hotel reception or something. So it's just everybody is like going around and saying hi to us.
And I think let me say this before we wrap up. To every African leaders out there, watching this podcast, guys.
What I know by Nahuja Hatibu.
I think you need to believe in yourself. I know. Quick one. Outside there, they thought that Africa is just a country. They thought that Africa is just a small place. At times, some of them also get marveled that most of us, we even went to school, right? But trust me, Africa got a lot of things. So please believe in yourself and always prepare, because opportunity will definitely come. So guys, put yourself together. The opportunity you expect.
And I'm going to add on that. We thought coming here, we're going to have a culture shock. But I feel like when they meet us, they have the culture shock.
You're right.
Because like even yesterday when we were doing that exercise, I think 2 days ago we were doing exercise at Campbell's. And she said, she's like, I'm sorry to Americans, but she said, if I had my students here, my master's students, they'll take forever to do this task. We did it you are given 3 minutes to come up with a business. You're given 2 minutes to come up with a team. You are given like 0 seconds to come and address people, and you actually did very well. I think it was about finances and everything. So like we play so small thinking because this is a Western country, because it's America, because it's outside, they are better than us. I'm not saying they're not in so many ways, but when it comes to the mindset, we need to stop that. We are so smart. We are hardworking. Because we also not being spoon-fed, you know, that they keep saying that, you know, because we there's so many problems back home, so we see problems and we see solutions, we see another ways of making money, because we don't have plan B's, we don't have plan C's, we don't have plan D's. So it's so important for them. Here education is so easy. You can take a loan from the government and go to university. For us, university, if your parents don't have money, even if you're smart and you get getting a scholarship is really, really hard. So I feel like, guys, even though we have all these obstacles, we are doing amazing stuff. And let me tell you, for those who did not get a chance to come here, if you're not yet 35 and above, please apply again next year, because it's going to change your mind. It's going to make you feel really superior for the first time. It's going to make you feel smart. And when you go home, you're going to go do things that you've never thought of doing.
Amazing things.
Amazing things. And we're praying for you guys, whoever is listening to this, whoever is watching this, that when you apply next time, you get in. Thank you guys so much. This has been What I Know by Nauja Atibu. I keep forgetting even my own podcast name. What I Know by Nauja Atibu. And stay tuned for other interviews from other fellows, because guys, like these guys have so much to share, and I cannot wait to share everything with you guys. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Baba.
All right.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.